So my first impression of the movie was I loved it. Didn't know anything about Tarantino. Didn't even know he existed really. So his name wouldn't have stood out to me as far as who had written the movie. Um, I know I saw Reservoir Dogs sometime shortly after this because I had a friend that was more plugged into what was cool than I was at the time. We both would have been either in our senior year of high school or having just graduated. And she was always trying to get me to hang out with her and watch movies. She would rent a bunch of movies, and we'd sit in her room and watch them.
Before Netflix and chill, it was rent and chill.
Blockbuster and chill.
Yeah, there you
Yeah, so we would do that, and I know I saw Reservoir Dogs during that time, but still it didn't click with me like, oh, this is a Quentin Tarantino movie, like he's cool or whatever, he's bursting on the scene with a new style and whatnot. Like none of that really sunk in with me at that time. It wasn't until Pulp Fiction hit big that all of that kind of came together, and then I went back retroactively and made the connection with Reservoir Dogs and this movie. I just love the movie because I love the movie. It spoke to me on a level of, I guess, the way this is autobiographical for Quentin Tarantino. It spoke to me in that regard too, in that as a guy who wasn't the prototypical cool guy, and I don't really even know what that means, but in my world view, at least the way the world worked when I was in high school, there were guys who went to parties, had friends, and did stuff.
Yeah.
They didn't just go home after school and watch TV. They didn't just go home after school and play video games. And they didn't just go after school and read comic books. These guys had a social life. And I was not one of those guys. I lived vicariously through the things that I was involved in. The shit I watched on TV, the movies I watched, the comics I read, the books I read, the games I played. That was my social life.
Yeah, agreed.
And that's how I related to the character of Clarence. And whether you felt, and I know I didn't think, well, I can have a life as cool as Clarence, you know what I mean? I didn't think that. But I did think, someone somewhere is going to eventually realize that I'm not a bad guy. I'm not such a bad guy just because I don't have this awesome social life, even though I am a bit of a recluse, and even though I probably do obsess more than I should about the things that I like comics and wrestling and, movies or whatever. Even though that's me, I'm going to have this moment where I'm in a comic book shop like Clarence is and explaining why this particular comic is so cool. And this amazing girl that's standing next to me is going to look into my eyes, and she's going to see the passion behind my eyes and what I'm explaining to her, and how I may not be this cool guy in real life, but I am worth her time and investment and her love. And I connected with that aspect. And where the ride took it from there, I didn't really care.